Hit record. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to class. I have 3 in attendance on the porch and a whole bunch out there, so I appreciate it always, always. I'm going to start. I've been reading from this book a lot. This is The Half-Life of Angels by Mark Nepo. And so I thought I would start with that. So make yourself a comfortable, nice seated position. Does not have to be cross-legged. You know that. Just make sure your spine is nice and aligned and you feel centered. And then maybe close your eyes for a moment. And right, if your knees are really high up, you can always put blocks underneath it or something else under them to support that. And then feel where your whole body is in space. Like, where is the head in line with the neck, with the shoulders with the hips, all of that kind of settling into alignment as we defy gravity. And then close the eyes. And I'm going to read one of Mark's poems here. It's called Sojourner. Sojourner. If we think what matters is yet to come, we will sell all that we have to buy a ticket to the future. If thinking God is in the darkness, we will burn the truth to light our way. And believing in less, we'll be convinced that the light is in you instead of in me, and tear each other apart in our search for worth. None of this is helpful. To never admit that the miracle is where we are has brought down empires. Better to listen to the deep in all directions and live by the sea. So just kind of take that in for a moment. And if I ever read one that you want me to send to you, just let me know. But just kind of take that in, right? This present moment, where we are, what we're doing, how we feel, not always in search of something else out there, and not thinking that we are separate from anybody else. And start to take the breath in and exhale it out fully. Inhaling, letting all sides of the ribs of the lungs expand out. And as you exhale, letting it all come back in and drawing the belly button deep in towards spine. And as you inhale in, see if you can feel the side body expand and the back body expand. Often it's just the front of the body that we feel. And as you exhale, imagine that somebody is doing a gentle squeeze on all 4 sides, drawing everything back to middle. And then let the eyes open up. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale right to your heart. Good. Interlace and press out. Lift up, start to arch through the back a little bit. Exhale, curl it in. And inhale, reach up. Exhale, curl in. Good. 3 more just like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, curl. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, curl it in. Good. Last one. Hold that rise up. Hold. Don't hold the breath. If this hurts the wrists, the fingers, or the shoulders, you can separate those hands and breathe, and then just reach over to one side. See if you can keep. If I'm leaning toward the right, then my left arm is going to expand out more. Yeah. And then inhale, center, go to the other side. Press with that opposite side. Breathe. Good. Take it to center. Exhale. Curl it all in. Just curl it in. Let go of the hands and reach them out in front of you and stay really curled. And then imagine somebody's got your hands and they're pulling them forward. So reach the spine forward. Lift those arms up. Exhale all the way down. Good. Roll it out, everybody. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, cactus arms. Twist everything to one side. Let the hands come down. One hand to your knee, the other hand behind you. Open up that hand, that side that's holding on to your knee. Open that shoulder up. So we're widening the collarbones. And then sit really tall. On the inhale, make yourself even taller. And on the exhale, soften into your twist. Notice I didn't say deepen, I said soften into your twist. Find your breath, everybody. Good. One more big deep breath in, lengthen your spine. Exhale, soften in. And then leave the hand that's on the knee, leave that there. Take the back arm, reach it up and over. Cross your elbows. Either you're here because that's already a big old stretch for your shoulders, or you're going to start to bend the elbows. Take your torso forward. How far you go is going to be up to your body. Watch your low backs. You can tuck the chin, you can round, you can get really, really soft here. Big deep breath. And then peel yourself back off just the way you came in. Elbows are still crossed, and then inhale, reach them up. Exhale, cactus arms. Twist everything to the other side. One hand down to your knee, the other hand comes behind you. Open up both shoulders. Stay nice and wide here. Notice if you have excess tension in the neck, right? So we can move and twist the cervical spine, but we don't want to overdo it. We want to move this twist from the belly. Take a deep breath in, lengthen. Exhale, soften into the twist. Good. One more big deep breath. Exhale, soften. And then take the back hand, reach it up, cross your elbows, reach for the other side leg, and start to bend the elbows and just kind of notice. In yoga, I rarely want to do anything quickly because one side's always going to be different than the other side. So as I start to drape down, I can feel a little bit more tug on the left shoulder here. So I'm just going to go a little slower and maybe drop the chin down. So we're getting a stretch through the shoulders, the upper back, for some, even down into the low back. And then peel away from the floor, leave the elbows crossed until the hands release. Take it all the way up. Exhale to your heart. Whew, good. And shake it out. Just some nice rolls here. Good. So we're going to play a little bit with the seat and trying to not use our hands quite so much, right? And so initially, kind of lean back and just I'll try to mirror here too because I'm get back and forth with this. So lean back, take your right leg out and just stretch it out. Yep. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive a little bit. Feel the hinge from the hips, support under the knee if you need to. And then just take the hands in front of you. Don't go for the floor just yet. Pull the shoulders back, flex your long legs foot, and almost walk the sit bones back. So as we walk the sit bones back, we get a little bit more of an anterior tilt of the pelvis. Right? What we don't want here is this rounding, especially in the lower back. So notice how that feels. We're going to do this multiple times, so we're not going to stay. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take your hands to your heart. Bring the leg back in. See if you can do it without hands. Take both hands behind. Switch the leg that's in front. When you're ready, just lean back, lift, and take it out. Same thing this side, nice grounded leg, flexed foot. Look at your foot, see if it's sickling in or out. If it is, see if you can get it to come straight in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, baby swan dive, just a little. See where you feel that. Take the hands to the floor, walk the sit bones back a little bit, draw the shoulder blades nice and wide or the collarbones nice and wide, and see how it feels on this leg. Most of you know I'm kind of a wiggler. I don't sit still very much. So maybe as you're wiggling, you can feel the inner groin, the outer hip, like what's happening on this side. We start to just feel that again. We're going to do this several times, so I'm not going to stay. And then come on up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Lean back a little bit. Bring that leg in. Put the other leg in front. Lean back. Take it out. Stretch it out. Good, right? And as we do that, believe it or not, we're using a little bit of core to make that happen. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, baby swan dive. Hands to the floor. Now listen up. We're walking the sit bones back. We're drawing the pubic bone forward, right? So we get that little anterior tilt. And then the hands isometrically start to draw back. Oh, yeah. Right? I don't have to bring my nose to the floor to feel the increase in the stretch for me, particularly on the inner thigh. As I draw the fingers back isometrically, broaden through the shoulders, breathe. Maybe you come down a little bit more. You know you, right? Is this appropriate for your body? What are you feeling? And from here, I want you to take these toes that I have you flexing nicely and turn them out to the side. Yep, external rotation. This is going to be different for everybody, right? Obviously, depends on where your hips are, where they are in the sockets, which direction they face. Good. Press yourself up. Take your toes back to point. Lean back. Switch sides. Oh. Good. And lean back. Take that leg out. Sit up nice and tall. Move the sit bones back. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Hands come to the floor. Once again, I'm going to walk the sit bones back. It's really, again, more of an isometric move. They're not really moving. But as I try to draw the sit bones back, the hips roll forward a little bit. The fingers draw back isometrically. The shoulders get nice and wide. Find our breath. And just doing that little pullback increases the stretch here. Some of you are going to be able to come down a little bit lower. I know some who can just face plant here, and I admire that. It's not in my wheelhouse. Single leg maybe, but we're just going to feel, where is the stretch, right? Can we slow down enough to go, wow, on this leg, it's way up here in the groin. On the other leg, it was closer to the knee, right? What's happening with my inner thighs to cause the tension in different places? Good. Stay here or come up a little bit and turn that foot out to the side. Ooh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Good. Release. Press that foot up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to your heart. Bring them both in. See if you can resist the urge to use your feet or your hands and come out to Dandasana. Legs nice and straight. Feet nice and flexed. Press the big toe mounds. Ground the legs. Inhale, reach up. Good. And again, feel that, right? So imagine you're holding a beach ball and you're going to really get the outer arm and the upper back activated here by hanging onto this beach ball, which just got a little bit heavier. So you don't want it to slip. 1, you're here. 2, hands are down because this is hard enough. 3, one leg lifts. And breathe. Yeah, so you're going to feel that quadricep really quickly. 1, stay there. 2, tap on down. Don't worry about it. Whoo! Good. Lower, lift taller. Good. Lift the other leg. When you lift one leg, ground the other. Belly's nice and toned. Breathe. Lower, lift taller. Lift one leg. Listen up. You're going to bend that knee into chest. Turn it. Come into a seated figure 4. Let the hands come down. And check this out, right? So where are you again in this hip, external hip rotation? Some people are way better with internal rotation. Some are better with external rotation. It's just your body, right? For the most part, it's just your body. So sit up really tall here. And then take that knee and just draw it toward the opposite chest. Should feel a little stretch right here. And then let it go. Good. Bring it up. Give yourself a good hip stretch. Let it go. One more time. Bring it all the way up. You're going to set that foot on the floor. Lift really tall. Inhale, reach up. So if I'm mirroring again, I've got my right leg here. The left arm wraps around and the right hand comes behind. Again, right, twists. I don't do deep, deep twists early in the morning. So just feel how this is in your body. You know what's best for you. Maybe not go so deep. Breathe. And then come back to center. Same knee, drop it back down. Flex that long legs foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, baby swan dive. The hands, this is an intense hamstring stretch. Be mindful, make sure your foot isn't smack on top of your knee. It should be above or below your knee. And breathe. Just feel that hip, feel the hamstring. Good. Toes pointing straight up, shoulders open. Maybe use those fingers to draw the chest nice and wide. Breathe. And come on up. Woo, good. Lift. Don't use your hands. Straighten out that leg. Shake them both out. Flex the legs, breathe. Inhale, reach the arms up. Tone that belly, lift the other leg. Woo. Press down through this leg to make that happen. Bring the knee into chest. And then turn it out. Drop that ankle above the knee. If that doesn't work for your knee, right? You go below the knee. Good. And then swan dive a little bit and just come forward. Oh, and I forgot one thing we'll come back to. Good. Breathe. Just watch the knee that's on the straight leg, right? Because it can hyperextend pretty easily if you're not paying attention. Drawing the hips forward, isometrically drawing the fingers back. You get a little hole, little knot right here, like a rock climber. I'm holding on to that little gap. Breathe. Boy. Good. And come on up. Hold on to this. Keep this leg engaged. Take that knee and draw it toward the opposite side chest. And then let it go. And bring it up. And let it go. Good. One more here. Bring it up. Hold. Just feel that nice, maybe nice stretch right there. Drop that foot to the floor. Lift up really tall. Take the opposite hand, wrap it around the knee, get really tall, and then come back into a twist. Where do you feel this twist from? Where is the main mover of your twist, right? Hopefully it's around that belly button area as the belly moves and the ribs move and the chest moves, and then the head comes into that twist, not the other way around. Good. Release. Take the arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart, lean back, release, press out, shake it out. All right, we're almost done with this little series. You're going to lean back, hands to heart. This one is up to you. You can start with hands down. You're going to lean back, pull, and open. And find Baddha Konasana. And then let go of the hands, maybe move the flesh out from the sit bones. And again, I've seen every variation of this pose. For some, the knees are up here. Again, it depends on where the hips are in the sockets of your hip joints. Some are nice and wide open. Some may want to sit up on a blanket or a block, especially if the knees are up high, to raise the hips. And feel that. Just kind of notice, where is that in your body? Where do you feel it the most? If you feel it in your knees, by the way, walk the feet out. See if that helps with that compression in the knees. And then take the hands to the tops of the knees. Be gentle. We know this. We did this last class. I want you to push up isometrically, not down, but up. Breathe. Inner hip, inner line activation. And then just let it go. Don't push down, please. Good. And push up. Anybody ever go to a class where the instructor tells you to push down, or in a gym class, don't push down. And release. Good. One more time. Push up, push up, push up. And that push up is not 100%, right? It's 40, 30, 50 if you're really type A. And let go. Good. And then hands to heart. Bring the knees in. See if you can lift. Little baby boat pose. Take the arms out. It's not even at a 90 degree. It's just starting to get that core activated. Lift the chest. Let the feet come down. Straighten the legs and shake it out. And turn sideways just so you can see. We'll do a little bit more boat play, and then we'll get ourselves moving off of our behinds. So grab a block if you have it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. And just take the block between, let's go right between the knees here. As long as that doesn't hurt your knees. If it does, just bring it up a little bit higher. And then lean back and squeeze the heck out of that block. I would say 50% kind of squeeze. Hold your hands at the fronts of your shins and lift your chest. And just see what happens when you maintain this. This might be enough for you. Otherwise, the arms go out and you're going to lean back a little bit more, still not lifting the feet, still not doing anything but squeezing your block. Good. Hold here. Take the arms out wide. Breathe. The feet are flexed. I'm digging my heels into the mat. I'm squeezing my block. Take the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Lift your chest, everybody. Take the arms forward and then just move up. And you can wrap the arms around. Good. Release that. Take the hands behind your thighs. Lean back. Squeeze in through the belly. Squeeze that block. Find that kind of sort of spot where you think you could balance and just lift one leg. Whoa. Squeeze the block. Take the arms out in front of you. And breathe. Squeeze the block. Breathe. Let go of that. If you can hold, lift the chest, squeeze, and lift the other leg. That's it. Finding those muscles, right? Finding those little things we didn't even know were there. And release and roll forward. And breathe. Drop that block down to your ankles. And hang on to it. Best you can. Inner ankles, inner big toes. Lift up tall. Take the hands behind you, lift the legs. Oh, good. Imagine there's a block between the knees. Find that and release the arms, maybe, or the hands come behind your legs. Squeeze, breathe. 5, 4, try to squeeze your block. 3, 1, and release. Straighten the legs, move your block out of the way. All right, here we go. Last set here. So it's interesting with boat pose. Some people teach it feet together. Some people teach it hips width apart. I think either one is fine. So you do you. Try it with your feet together. It is not my favorite version, but it's interesting. So it's like squeezing the block, but you're squeezing the ankles together. And then imagine, right, lifting the chest to find this balance, this little spot where you can hang out for a little bit. And then feel the low belly tone in, feel the chest lift. And breathe. Take the arms out. Optional always with the arms, take them up. Every time you move those arms away from your body, it gets tougher. Go to cactus arms. Lift your chest. Hold on, hold on, hold on. And release. And shake it out. What was interesting about that for me, bringing the ankles together, the longer I held it, the more my knees drifted apart, right? I was losing that stability with the hips. So lean back, take your feet out in front of you. Take the feet wide and just start to windshield wiper. This should feel good after all that. And breathe. The next time your knees are over to the right, again, I'm mirroring, go ahead and pause. Take this back leg and draw it back. And if you're straight on your mat. You might want to turn sideways just so you have knees on mat, or put something under your knee if it's off mat. And feel this again, internal rotation, external rotation. And I am off my, again, if I'm mirroring, I am off my left glute. Some of you can sit that down. I don't know how. So that's okay. I just want you to feel steady on the long leg. And then inhale, reach the arms up and turn toward your right leg, turn toward your right knee, and just set the hands down. So again, we're in this little bit of twist, and adjust the legs as you need to, right? If it feels like you need to come in more, if you're okay, keep it there. And start to twist, but then feel what normally happens is your left hip is going to want to roll forward, and your left ribs are going to roll forward, and all that stuff. I'm going to invite you instead to draw the left side ribs in and move the right side ribs back. It's kind of an interesting thing. The whole belly becomes more active if we're not just sinking into the lower back. So it's almost like a little tailbone curl. The left side ribs pull in more. And then I want to see, all right, so what's really happening here? Where do I feel this? And breathe. Maybe walk the hands further out and continue to draw the left side ribs in, the right side ribs draw back. The tailbone doesn't lift, it actually drops, right? So we're not going to sink into the low back and arch. Breathe. Some of you can come to elbow here. Don't go all the way down, because I really want you to stay in the rib and low belly area. I don't want you to think about coming down to your chest. I want you to draw the left side ribs in, roll the right side ribs back, and press up. Release. Take your hands to your heart. Breathe. And let go. Take the knees up. Set them back down. Feet are wide. Windshield wiper again. Next time those knees are over to the left, pause. Walk that back leg back. For me, I have to, just to make it feel okay in my hips. So you'll find it. Some people have to curl in more in both legs and bring them closer together. And then start by just sitting up and feel, right? What does it take to sit upright here, especially if we're not using our hands? And then turn everything toward this side, right? Toward this left side, and stay really tall. Really, really tall. And start to soften the right side ribs in as you find the twist. The left side ribs draw back, the tailbone gets long. Some of this can be really subtle, and some of it can be interestingly profound, at least for me. It's like, oh, so if I'm not arching my back, I mean, you can try it. If you just fall into the pose, the back arches, the front ribs kind of flow out and forward. It's a whole different stretch. It's a whole different thing. So instead, I want to draw in. I want to see if I can tone up that. And then maybe walk the hands out a little, but stay in relatively straight arms. And draw the ribs in and feel the left side ribs rotate more to the side and in. And then maybe come to elbows. And then readjust the ribs again. Right? Maybe you start to tap into your psoas. Maybe you feel from the hip point to the mid belly to the spine, right? That psoas going from your inner upper thigh all the way to the 12th of lung or thoracic vertebra, right? All the way up there. And then press into your hands. Stay tall. Take your body center. Release the legs and shake them out. Nice job, everybody. All right, let's come on to all fours. If you have a blanket and want it for your knees, go ahead and get that there. You may want a block just handy. We're not going to grab it right away, but you never know with me, right? So find table pose. Maybe stretch out through the hips. Little cat cow, maybe just hip circles, maybe rib circles. I love rib circles. Kind of move all that stuff around. And then come back to center and press the right leg straight back. Tone in through the hips, lift the leg and breathe. And then bend the knee and lift the leg to activate the glute, but don't sink into your low back. So take both sides of the lower ribs and draw them back in while lifting that knee. It's like, what? I'm not sure it goes that way, right? Because we're really trying to arch into a back bend, but we're resisting by drawing the ribs back in. Breathe and then lower down. Take that same knee out to the side. Now the hips will cockeye a little bit, they'll shift a little bit, but I want you to see if you can pull the ribs in a little. Good, breathe everybody, and release. This time you're gonna take your shin, I'm using my right leg this whole time, and you're gonna lay it on the back of your left calf. And then you're gonna lift up there, kind of like a weird figure four, right? Same thing, try to shift the ribs in, lower floater ribs, shift them in. Breathe, try to lift without lowering the low back and lower down. Good, straighten that leg out, just stretch it out and release. Let's go to the left side. First find it, right? Find neutral. Lift the leg, find neutral again. Bend the knee, flex the foot as if you're gonna stamp on the ceiling and lift a little bit. You're not gonna lift high, because what happens when you do? You arch into the lower back. You lose the hip extensor by lifting and you go into the low back. So just lift a little and then pull the low ribs in. Hold. I know, right? Breathe and lower. You don't even have to touch. Take it out to the side. Foot's flex, knees flex. Your leg is roughly 90 degrees. Soften the ribs in. Find your breath. And lower. Turn that shin in so you're resting it relatively on the calf and then lift from there. Flex the foot, bring the belly in. And especially one of my gals out there, you know who you are, right? I can just see your low back doing that loop-de-loop. So draw the ribs in, keep the work in the glute, in the hips, without dropping your low back. And lower down, just straighten that leg, maybe press back, stretch it out. And release. Good, come off those wrists, give them a good shake. Squeeze the wrists. And come on back. Spread the fingers, everybody. Plant the hands, hang on to that beach ball between the elbows. If you look at your inner elbows, they're roughly facing the same direction as your thumbs. Flip your toes under, lift the knees. As soon as I lift my knees, I feel my lower back dump a little. It doesn't hurt, but I feel it arch. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull the ribs in, right? What happens when we pull the ribs in? The tailbone lengthens, the back neutralizes, comes into a more normal curve. The legs are having to work here. And then draw your chest toward your thighs. Just keep the knees deeply bent, deeply bent. Reestablish the arms, right? These arms are working for you. So draw the back body, feel the shoulders working, feel the hands planted, and then just straighten your right leg. Ooh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then slowly bend your right leg. And slowly straighten your left leg. Hello, calf muscles. Don't lose the arms. Slowly bend your left. Bend both knees deep and then both legs straight. Find your down dog. Feel free to bend the knees. Stretch out the back of the legs. Find your breath. Find your down dog. And then look through your hands and step forward with your right foot. And lower your left knee. Let those toes go. Bring your hands to your knee. And then sink back in your pose until you feel the stretch along your left front leg. So again, this, you all know this, the ones that take class with me pretty regularly. This is just the 90-90. The hips are level, so check out the hips. Is the right leg forward and the right hip high? Can you shift that a little bit? Can you tuck through the tailbone, bring the ribs in, and tap in right here? Oh, I love this pose. Inhale the left arm up. Small side bend, right? So trying to move into the psoas muscle just a little bit. Breathe. And then take that arm up, take the other arm up, keep the back glute active and sink back into the front knee. Keep the back glute active. Find your breath. Take your hands to the floor, take the right hand inside your right foot and let the right knee drift out to the side. Even here, right? Even here, I don't let the left hip sink down willy-nilly, right? I just don't. I keep the left hip, left glute active. I keep the left hip relatively level with the right side, even here. And then imagine somebody's drawing your torso forward. So get longer in the torso. And then soften, bring the right knee in, walk your right hand out, lift your left knee, step back to down dog. And just pedal it out. Shake it out. Maybe you shake side to side. Oh, find your breath, everybody. If you need a little child's pose here just to catch up, please do. And then look through your hands, step forward, left leg. Lower your right knee, undo your right toes, and take your hands up. Open up the shoulders. And then draw the hips back to find that, relatively speaking, 90-degree leg, front leg, back leg. And then check out the left hip. Is it hiked up? If it is, just roll it back. Is the left knee rolling in? If it is, see if you can square it with the front hip bone and the front foot. Press into your back foot, lengthen the tailbone, and find your stretch, right? For me, it takes all those things. Like if I just stay here 90-90 and my butt's kind of poking out, I don't feel anything. But as soon as I get long here, draw the low belly in, like, oh, there it is. There's my stretch. Take the right arm up. Reach it over just gently. Breathe. Try to keep the focus in the hips, in the glutes, in the psoas, deep psoas muscle, as well as the front hip flexors, the other hip flexors. Take the arm up. Take the other arm up. Bring the hips forward. Watch the glute, watch the knees. Take your hands to the floor. Take the left hand inside the left foot. And just find that. And then let the left knee drift out to the side. Feel the hips. Where are they? Notice if you're just letting the front right hip drop through. Keep some integrity there in the joints. Breathe. And take that knee up. Take the hand back out. Lift your right knee. Step back to down dog. Shake it all out. Walk your feet wide. Walk your hands back. Find a forward fold, nice wide leg forward fold. Bend the knees, press the knees out to imaginary walls. Hands to knees, and come on up. Good. Just feel that, right? That little nice stretch, lengthening through these hip flexors. The hip flexor does this. The glute is a hip extender. It does this. It extends the front of the hip. So when we can kind of figure that out, we can figure out that when we do this, if we overdo, we go here. This area only opens up a little bit in pretty much everybody. So move the blanket out of the way for a second. We're going to come back to that in a moment. Come up to the front of your mat and inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Find that forward fold, bend the knees as much as you need to, and then bend both knees, peel your right heel, peel your right foot, step all the way back. We played with that on Wednesday. Come into a nice solid lunge. Make sure your lunge is wide enough so you have a solid base, and then squeeze in through those same ribs we've been talking about. Take your hands to your knees, but don't lift up. Press the right leg back strongly, and then press the body up, lift up, take the arms up, and breathe. One, you're here, optional. Bend the back knee. We did this on Sunday too. I know some of you are just cursing me right now. Breathe, and then press up and out back to a lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Step back, down dog. Find your breath, everybody. Breathe. Plant the hands, engage the upper back, plank pose. And breathe. Just an easy plank. Adjust as you need to. Fire up the legs. Know that you can drop the knees. Bring those low ribs in. Find your breath. Down dog. Good job, everybody. Hang in there. Look through your hand, step forward, right leg. Left knee can be down, by the way, I didn't say that. Pull the low ribs in. Float your hands to your knee. Press the body up to lunge. Take the arms up. Find that, make sure you're stable. Optionally, bend the back knee. Find that. It's that same thing, right? Working the legs, using more muscle here. And press out. Exhale all the way down. Step back, down dog. We're getting there. You getting warmed up out there? Plank pose. Find your breath. Lower your knees. Sink back to child's pose. Find your breath. How you feeling, everybody? So just notice, right? Notice how you're feeling. We're going to do one more thing to play, well, a couple more things to play with these hips, and then we're going to see if we can bring it back together. So come back to table pose, to downward facing dog. Left foot forward. Right foot forward. Soft knees, come on up. Exhale to your heart. And shake it out. Good. Shake out the wrists. And take it up. Inhale. Exhale. Come on down, everybody. Soft knees, soft knees. Watch for hyperextension of the back of the knees here. Soften the knees and step back with your right leg. And breathe. And again, notice, right? So if I take my left hand inside my left foot and walk the left foot out, but then turn the left toes out so that my knee and my foot face the same direction. Find that and then turn your back foot to the pinky side. So your right hand is on the mat. Your right pinky side foot is on the mat. Your left toes are pointing out. Your left hand is on your knee, on your left knee. Now, really good, Stu. Really press the outer ankle of your right foot away from the floor. Yes, like you're trying to step your big toe onto a wall. Tone in through your belly, lengthen your head and neck. Take the left arm up optionally. Yes, yes, yes. Feel that. Whoo-hoo. Rock and roll, everybody. Take the left hand down, straighten the back foot, leave the front foot. Readjust your hands. Find your breath. 1, you're here. 2, you might bend the right elbow. 3, you might bend the left elbow. Deep hip here, everybody. Keep the right leg active. Press into your left hand. Press into your right. Walk the left foot in. Find down dog. Lower your knees, everybody. Take your knees wide, feet in, and sink back as an option. So interesting in child's pose, if you notice your head hangs so that the top of your head is on the mat, you might put hands under your forehead instead, just to keep that integrity at the back of the neck. Breathe. All right. Other side, everyone. We got to do them both. Come on, back up. Table pose. Woo. Shake it out a little bit. Downward facing dog. Stretch it out a little bit. Look forward, step forward, right foot. You're going to walk the right foot out a little bit and then angle the foot out. Yep. And this might be enough, really, for some, right? You're like, that's plenty. The challenge here, right? If you were to drop your knee, your hips and your the SI joints can really get wonky. So I like to leave that knee lifted. And then you're going to turn to the side of your left foot. Adjust your left hand to help support your pose. The challenge here is not to let the outside ankle sink down. So imagine somebody's pushing your hip away from the floor. Your right hand goes to your knee. Your upper back is active and strong. Right arm goes up. Find your breath, everybody. Breathe. That's it. And then release the left or release the right hand, straighten the back foot, but keep the front foot if you can. And just hold here. Draw the low ribs in. Fire up the back leg. Now, you might want to try just dropping the left elbow. For some, that's accessible, but not both. Or drop both. This is deep, everybody. If your body says no, come on out. Listen, listen. And then press into your right hand. Press into your left hand. Walk your right foot in. Step back, down dog. Hold here if you can. Walk the feet wide. Walk the hands back. Bend the knees, hands to knees. Come on up. Shake it out. Maybe just walk a little, like shake, you know, take a little survey of how your hips are feeling, the front of the hips, all that stuff. So while we're standing, let's do tree pose because it kind of fits in. So pick your spot. Stand tall. You do whichever leg you want first, but here's how I want you to do it, is to take, I'm going to start with my right leg down, not mirroring here. And I'm just going to turn my left leg out. And then I'm going to square the hips, right? So from this to this, so that that standing leg is fully supported. And then start to peel the foot off. A lot of people think they can't do tree because their pants are slippery or something else is going on, but just lift your foot off the floor. Don't even go tree. and feel what that takes. Hips are level, right? Then come to your tree, whether it's all the way up here, above, below the knee, toe to the floor. I'm okay with really all of that. But if you can get that foot off the floor, you weight bear so much more. You build bone, you build muscle. So talking and doing at the same time. Get that hip in, hands to heart. Soften the lower ribs in. Whoop. There she goes. Either take the arms out, leave them at the heart, take them up. Find your breath. And then find that place of relative calm in the pose. And release, shake it out. It's funny because I shifted my mat. Now I don't have a solid spot under my foot. All right, so here we are. Mountain pose always, right? Always start. Just turn your other foot out and just think about that. What happens to the hips? Tree pose, hip points straight ahead. Doesn't matter where the knee is if the hips are lined. And then just take it off the floor. If you could do this every day, several times a day, that'd be great. Keep lengthening this leg, like somebody's taken the muscle and just drawn it up to the hip. Once you feel that, go ahead and go to your version of tree. You can have a hand to the wall, by the way. Find your breath, find your stability, engage the left glute or the standing legs glute. Maybe the arms go up and out, maybe not. Maybe they go up. Maybe they stay close. And then release and shake it out. All right, grab your blanket. And I want you to go long like this and put it on your mat. Unless you have a nice cushy floor, and then you don't need it. So you decide. And you're going to come to the back of your mat and come down to your knees. And again, this may or may not be for everybody. You just don't want your knees on really hard surface. So we're going to do something that may be fun and maybe not fun. It probably will depend on your hips. You're going to come to table pose. And then you're going to bring the knees together. And you're going to see if you can bring your left leg around and in front and cross your right. So you're going to go around and cross. And then you're going to take the back leg and go around and cross. It's like the weirdest crawl you've ever done. And then around and across. Move the hands as needed and around and cross. Pause there. So that was 4. And now we're going to go backwards. Going to go around and cross behind. Walk the hands back. Around and cross. Around and crossed. One more. Around and crossed. Now, you got knees crossed, hopefully. You got one side. Notice which knee is on top. You might want to take your hands under your blanket if they happen to be there, just so you have solid support. Flip your toes under and come to this bizarre down dog. Now, once you get there, the tendency is going to be to straighten the back knee. I want you to bend the back knee so the knees are touching. Big deep breath. And then slowly lower the knees. Switch knees. Watch the blanket if it gets under your toes. Come to that cross-legged down dog. Bend the back knee so that the knees are touching. Otherwise, you can hyperextend there. Reach the arms, lengthen through the sacrum, lower the knees, uncross the knees, and either sit back or child's pose or something else that feels okay for you. And then come on back up. We got one more possible option here. So you've got your blanket again, and instead of crossing, you're going to slide your left knee forward and then slide your left leg back. So it is a variation of pigeon. This may not be good for some of your knees, and if it isn't, please don't do it. Okay? And then lower down to your elbows. And then flip your right toes under and lift your right knee off the floor. Level out your hips. Breathe. Keep the low ribs in toward the body. Press back into your hands. And down dog. Lower the knees. Just slide on the blanket. Slide the right knee forward. Slide the left leg back. Engage that back glute. 1, you're here. 2, you're on elbows. 3, you lift that knee off the floor. Breathe. Lower the knee, hands down, down dog. Lower all your knees, all of your knees to the floor and slide down to your belly. And lower all the way down so your forehead's resting on your hands. Your neck is neutral. I keep mine up to talk. And feel your pelvis, just feel it. And depending on the mobility of your lower back, you might feel a little arched here. And if you do, lengthen through the tailbone and press into the pubic bone and level out the back a little. I don't want it straight though. I don't want it flat, just neutral. Flip the toes under and lift the knees. Draw the inner ankles toward each other so that your feet feel like they're parallel to each other because the heels will tend to roll out here. And lift one leg, but keep hips on the floor. The leg is straight. That's probably the harder thing. We'll tend to bend the knee here. Feel the glute. Find your breath. And lower down. Bring the inner ankles toward each other like there's a weak magnet pulling them toward each other, and then lift the other leg. Keep the foot flexed. And lower. And then draw the ankles together again and lift both. They're not going to go high. The feet are flexed. Breathe. Whew. Hold. And release both. Flatten the feet. Shake out the hips. Take your feet wider on your mat. Come to Sphinx pose with the wider leg. Find that. And then sway side to side. When I sway side to side, I feel a stretch in that side belly, right? That long belly. And then come to neutral and consider walking the elbows to the right. And you'll notice as the elbows go to the right, maybe you feel the left side belly stretching. Take a deep breath. If this hurts the low back or throws those SI joints off, then come back towards center and just sway. Soften the ribs in a little bit. And then walk to center. and go the other way. It's always interesting to me when I walk my elbows left, I don't feel much at all in the right side belly. When I walk my elbows right, I feel a big stretch in the left side belly. And the left side belly is where I'm most tight. So then soften the ribs in just slightly. Make sure the tailbone stays long. And walk center. Lower down. Bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs. And then release the legs and roll onto your back. You can leave that blanket or whatever you have right there. Keep the knees bent, please. Take the left leg right up toward the ceiling. Externally rotate the leg. So turn the toes out and then bend the knee and come to figure four on this side. Your left ankle going above the right knee. Check your hips and just see if they're relatively level, like the left side knee didn't hike that hip up. And then start to draw the knees toward the chest, but see if you can keep a small space behind your lower back. And breathe. The upper body should be comfortable. I could throw a couple blueberries underneath my back and I wouldn't squish them. If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. The other way to think about that is to stay at the center line of your sacrum. So again, it's interesting to me because if I want to go for the stretch, I've got to bring my knees way into chest and then I flatten my back and round it. So there's an interesting compromise there for me to see if I can stay in that center line. Slide your left leg all the way across until you're knee on knee again. Your knees are crossed. Draw the knees toward chest, and this time you can flatten that low back. Optionally, when you're here, that's a lovely stretch for that left hip, left glute, or you slide the hands down the shins, either stay at the low shins or the feet or the big toes and come into cow face legs. And even in cow face, if you can, kind of lean back toward that sacrum. So there is still a little bit of a soft curve in your low back. Cow face legs. This is more accessible to most people than it is seated. Breathe. And then just release back to that cross leg. No hands, undo the knees, straighten both legs up. Take your hands to your inside knees and open the legs nice and wide. Bring them back together. Lower your left foot to the floor, your right leg straight up. Externally rotate. Bend and come into that figure four. For some, this is a plenty enough stretch, right? We honor that. Draw the knees up toward chest, but again, see if you can maintain a slight curve to the low back. See if it works for you. Just breathe. Just feel it. And cross knee over knee. Start there. Just bring the knees toward your chest and feel that stretch. And then if you want to try, you walk those hands down the shins to the feet. I generally, for cow face, supine cow face, I will take my hands to the soles of my feet and wrap my fingers around the pinky side. But for a lot of people, you can just take the hands under the calf or right by the Achilles, right? And then just have the fingers wrap around the outside of the legs. That's really nice and very effective too. Or you stay with your knees crossed and in your chest, because that's really all your body needs right now. Deep breath. Try to sink in toward the sacrum and then release. Without hands, release the legs, take them straight up, and then use the hands to open wide. The hands can really either go inside or outside depending on how much stability you need there. Bring the legs in, both knees to chest. Straighten the left leg really long all the way down to the floor. Interlace your hands around your right knee and then push your right knee away from you so that the arms are straight. Really push it. And then exhale, draw the knee back in. Switch sides, bring the left leg in, right leg straight. Draw the knee toward your chest. And then push the knee away, hang on to it with those interlaced hands. Really give it a good push, everybody. And then bring it in. And straighten that leg. Hallelujah. We are at Shavasana. So feel that, right? Some of you might want to do just a quick, like little squeeze in of everything before you settle in, a big squeeze through the glutes, hips, legs, and then let it go. Let the legs flow out wherever they are for you. The palms face up. The back of the neck nice and long. And we find ourselves moving right back into the center line of our bodies, quieting our thoughts, feeling the breath soften and move inward. Feel yourself starting to really let go here, surrendering into this pose. Go softer still. Start to deepen the breath just a little bit. Start to wiggle the toes, the fingers, curl the wrists out. And then slowly bend the knees, pause there for a moment, let everything settle in. And then draw those knees to chest. Rock side to side. Allow the knees to roll to one side or the other. And then as you're ready, press all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner wisdom and guidance. Let that be your teacher. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to class.